We're talking fashion here. It was the big reveal. First Lady Michelle Obama's inaugural ball entrance. Wow, we were all watching. Millions waited to see who she was wearing. Philadelphia Inquirer's fashion columnist Elizabeth Wellington was also glued to the TV that night, as all of us were that night, right?
I was.
So what was your reaction when the First Lady comes out in that red gown?
I stood up and clapped. I love red. Red is my most absolute favorite color.
Hollywood entrance, and look at the way he looks at her. Look at this. I mean, the bare arms.
She looked beautiful. She looked absolutely beautiful. The way the cut of the dress was beautiful. The pleating was beautiful. I believe it was a velvet chiffon blend, and there were little rosettes that he put in there, so the flow was beautiful. I mean, she walked in like a wave. So the fashion world. I mean, I was following Twitter, and they were saying, you know, they're here. People were like, Michelle Obama's in the building. You know, what dress is she wearing? So we just couldn't wait. And then when we found out it was Jason Wu again, it was like, wow, that's like amazing. And he's just so excited.
I mean, she's making this statement, and red sometimes when they wear the red, you know, did the red work? Because
I think it worked. I think she went straight Hollywood. I think she went straight Hollywood. I think the first dress she wore, the beautiful white dress, was very sort of, she waited, she was sort of introducing herself into the world. The red dress said confidence, it said strength. You see the way that her arms, exactly, the way that it goes in the V in the back, the way that you can see the beautiful detail of her arms. I mean, I think it was a winner, and I think she's really proud and excited and confident now being First Lady.
I do. I mean, and I think all women are inspired by her, but do you think in particular women of ethnicity get a special boost of empowerment from Michelle Obama?
I think what Michelle Obama has done for all women has made women think that they too can be fashionable, and it's okay to be fashionable and serious at the same time. And I think that's really important. I think a lot of the things that we talked about before was that women had to be serious. If they wanted to work in the world, they couldn't be flair and fun and pay attention to fashion.
And sexy.
Exactly, and I think she focuses on fashion, and she has a really good time with it, and she picks really, really interesting designers and
now let's show the white dress, because remember the first inauguration, she wore the white. And to me it was sort of like the virginal, this was her first, you know, time being First Lady. Did the white work? Do you like the red better? What do you think?
Personally, I like the red better, but I think the white worked with the message that she was sending before. I think she was sending a message saying, I am new to the game. I haven't, you know, been here before. She was introducing herself. At the time, the one shoulder was really trendy, so she was working with that. I think now the red, though, is so powerful and so strong and so amazing, and she just looks really good.
I mean, I think a lot of people say, well, yes, it's a Hollywood entrance, and you expect a movie star to look like that. But when I see the First Lady, and she's a mom, and she's a wife, and you know that was a busy day for her, I think, okay, I could do that. And I think every mom thinks that, every woman thinks that.
Right, I mean, she was working, and she had on her beautiful lashes. They were great. I think the one thing about that Michelle Obama does for women is she shows them that they can play with proportions. You don't have to be afraid. She's nearly 6 feet tall, and she chose, I mean, this beautiful dress by Jason Wu is great, but also at the inauguration, she chose Thom Browne to make her suit. And Thom Browne, he's from Allentown, he's a designer, and he's really well known for shrinking the men's silhouette. Yes. And so he's sort of doing that with his women's line a bit. And I think, you know, you look at Michelle and it's like, well, her sleeves are a little bit too high, or she's playing with color too much, but that's what fashion forward is. And just because you're a First Lady doesn't mean you have to be like staid and serious and wear your box suits or your St. John's suits. You can really have fun and play with silhouette.
She's working it.
Absolutely.
Now, do you think she's inspired by her daughters, Sasha and Malia? Because you call them fashion fierce. I mean, look at these girls. They're gorgeous.
I think they're sort of inspired by her. I mean, if you've got a mom that's that fashionable, you've got a lot of, you know, you've got big shoes to fill. So, but what I think is that they sort of work in tandem together to play with fashion. I think they have a good time together. I mean, she's so confident, they're learning their confidence from her. They're both tall, they're both stately, they're both beautiful girls. And so I think there's gonna be a lot of like playing in the closet. Like there's gonna be a lot of like, I'm gonna borrow this, you're gonna borrow this. Nobody's gonna be able to keep their clothes to themselves.
But, and that's always with mothers and daughters. But
exactly.
Every mom I know with teenage daughters was like, thank you, because they're J. Crew, they don't have that hoochie teen look. that every mom and dad dread, right, with teens and tweens.
Exactly. When I was writing about Sasha and Malia in the paper, one of the things that a lot of the experts and I were talking about was the fact that they're helping turn the page. Them, Kate Middleton, a lot of, for so long everything was tight and little and skimpy, and people's hair was long and not theirs, and their nails were long and not theirs. And I think that they don't look old-fashioned. They look very fashion-forward, very fashion-fierce, but they're very demure. Their looks. I mean, I think Malia plays a lot with color blocking. Sasha just plays a lot with prints. So they're very trendy, but they're also very classic. Yeah. And all moms, I'm sure, are happy about that.
Absolutely. The First Lady changed her hairstyle too. We've all been talking about that. Many people question whether or not those famous bangs are even real. When our conversation continues, how all women, but especially African American women, are getting that look instantly.